Good evening, everybody. It's April the 30th, 2017. I hope everyone's well. I've got Mr. Fortney in the house. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, all of the gorillas out there. I'm doing fantastic.
Excellent. That's two of us, and I hope there's many, many more of us as well. Right. Today we're going to be going over finding keywords for your product title. All right. So this is not keywords for everything. This is purely crafting out your title, because last week we looked at generating a very, very simple listing. And we got that up and running. And now we need to start building that listing out. And the first thing we need to start looking at is your product title. So again, as Noah, I've got some slides here, and they will be uploaded into sort of various different places so you can get hold of them and download them as normal. Generally, I'll put them in the files folder in the bootcamp in the Facebook group. They will also be going into the new membership area, which we'll talk about at some point in the couple of weeks. But right, let's jump in and see what a product title looks like, or how to actually find the right words to actually put into your product title. So let's jump into this, Rob, if you're ready.
Let me share with them why I think this is probably one of the important things that you're going to do for your business, because your title and your picture are what stand out first. So when someone makes that search for your keyword and they come up with your product, wherever it might be, that first sentence, that title matters. So titles matter, and then the keywords in the title obviously identify. It's not so much because you can put the same keyword in the back end, and they don't rate any higher or lower than the ones in your title. But the difference is the keywords in the title are what wake up our mind, so when somebody looks down a deal, our mind is scanning and reading that page subconsciously, and they're going to pick out our keyword. So if we're trying to rank for different keywords, it's so important that those keywords jump out at people. So that's what I got, and I think that today's going to be super interesting and super important to your business. So, all right, Paul, let's get on with it. I'm going to go over to the YouTube channel. You got that up too as well, Paul?
I have, yeah. It's Johnny. Good morning, good evening. How you doing, sir? So I've got that up in a separate chat. But so I'm going to be focusing on the slides. So if you can keep an eye on the chat, that'll be great. If anybody's got any questions, drop them into the chat so we can actually come back to you, and we can answer all of the questions either at the relevant point, or we'll wait until the end and cover the questions then. So, but please ask questions as we will get around to them. Okay, here we go. So finding keywords for your product title. So the first thing to look at, or the first area to look at, I'm going to jump in straight into how to actually find keywords and the various different techniques that we can actually use in order to get the keywords that really matter in our title. Now, the first thing that I do is actually use Amazon itself. Now, I use the Amazon search bar as a keyword provider, because the people buying the product, right, that everybody's got a specific term in their mind, all right, and when they go and try and search for something, or when they're trying looking to buy something, they've got that particular search term in their mind, and they will actually type it into the Amazon search bar, because that's where they're going to go and buy the product. Okay, so in this case, if you put, you can see this this top left-hand image that I'm circling at the moment. I've just put in football flag, and for those people that missed it last week, we're actually listing a football flag set or a kit, and we can see some of that later. But if you put in there a football flag, that's going to come up. Amazon going to go return, okay, the most popular search terms for that. Okay, and I think it returns about 6 to 8, depending on how you're set up. So football flag, you can see, is a football flag set, and it's telling me that's in sports and fitness or in toys and games. So it's listed as both of those, or under those both categories. All right, and then it's going to give me the next relevant search term that people are actually searching for, according to what Amazon believes that they're looking for. So we can see here football flag belts, flags, set, kids, shorts, gloves, waistbands, cones. All right. Now, bearing in mind that I am trying to gather information at this point, and I know some of that information is irrelevant. In other words, I'm not going to be using that in my title at all because it's just not relevant. Others are very relevant. So what I do here is I just copy all of these down and just make a list. Okay. So the next thing to do is just on this middle section here, on this middle screenshot, you can see what I've done here is got flag football space A. All right. So I'm just going to zoom into that just so you can see that a little bit. So hopefully we'll be able to see that. Up the top here has got flag football nothing. And then I've got flag football A. And what that's going to do now is return all of the top relevance search terms that start with flag and then the word that starts with A. Okay, so here Amazon are telling me that flag football adult is relevant. Okay, because that is what people are searching for, and that's what they're telling me. This is what you probably mean because it thinks I'm a buyer at this moment in time. All right, Amazon thinks I'm a buyer, so therefore it's trying to predetermine what I'm looking for. All right, so this is why it's a really good search term or search tool for keywords when you're actually doing your title, because the title is what Amazon are looking for when they come back with these results. So flag football adult, accessories, adult set, award trophy. Now the word trophy is probably not on my top list of words to gather in, but you never know. So anyway, what I do is I just keep copying all of these down, and I go through the alphabet. So it's like blank, then I go A, and I just put that over that, and then go B. So again, we've got flag football belts, belt kids. All of these are relevant for our particular product. So I'll just copy these down. I'll go through the whole alphabet, right from A to Z. And what you can do then is go flag football 1, and you go through the numbers just to complete the exercise, as it were. Go through 1 to 9. 10 even, but I think that views it as a 1. So anyway, that's the first thing you do there. And if we have a look, what I normally do is I'll just make myself a simple spreadsheet, okay? And I can either do this in Excel, Microsoft Excel, or I'll go onto Google Sheets and create my information there. Okay, and just create the list. And what I do is just sort of separate them out, all of the A's, all of the B's, the C's, the D's, and I should just keep going, and I should just copy these down. All right, so then at least we've got this information as a search term. Now, a search term is also known as a long tail keyword. A keyword would be football. A long tail keyword or term would be flag football adults. Okay, so that's all of the words together is commonly known as a long tail keyword. So if you're hearing some of these terminologies and you wonder what they are, I just want to try and explain what they are. So anyway, I've now got my list from A right through to Z, okay, of all of what Amazon believes that I'm searching for. Okay, because I'm a buyer, I'm in buyer mode at the moment, and I'm using the Amazon search bar in order to return those results. Okay, so it's important you actually do this and keep a copy of that and save it relevantly.
And one of these things, Paul, is that, and I always like to kind of get a global view of this, and you're a detail-oriented guy, and so the global view of this is that this is the foundation of how you're trying to find out what keywords in the long run will work in your back end when you start pulling together all 5,000 characters of your keyword. So that's what this is about. It's just kind of your first delve into the rest of the keywords. And one of the reasons I like doing the first part when you do this is that you do this. It kind of identifies who you are. It's kind of like your mission statement, maybe, when you put this, your title together. Now, this title can change along the way, and you'll, as the more in-depth you get in your keywords. But the important part is that you want to get started and have this foundational thing of your title. So that's what the important part of this is. It's really where you're starting at, and then why not start out where Amazon is? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, start out with Amazon showing you, hey, these are words that that are suggested, because we know that they're being searched a lot, and we know if you're looking for something else.
在楼上做点事情哦，哈，你先在楼下看电视。
Hello.
Yeah, it's Emily. I've just muted you, Emily.
Okay. All right. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And this is even though we're only looking for keywords for our title at this moment in time, it's a good foundation, as you say, Rob, for future work that we're going to do when we're looking at all of our keywords. So yeah, absolutely. And you've got to go through this exercise regardless of what you're doing or where you are or what product you have. You need to understand, and I think this is a really good start. And this is always the number one place to start, and then you can diverse from there. So let's have a look at the next aspect that we're going to be looking at. Again, let's jump into Amazon. Why not? Success leaves clues. I was listening to a webinar, and someone had said that, and I thought that's a really useful term to actually use. Success leaves clues. So let's have a look at sort of the top selling products inside Amazon and see if we can actually gather some keywords here. Now, another exercise I do, I normally, on the first page, I should copy down all of the titles from the first page of all of the sellers there. Now, again, I've just ringed a few here that I think that could be relevant, that I could use within the title. Okay, so if we look at the first one, all right, it's a sponsored ad, doesn't matter. They're paying enough money to be at the top spot. So let's have a look at what they've got. So a 14-player flag football set. Okay, that's pretty reasonable, with three flags per belt, includes 12. And you can see the rest of their title there. The next one down, deluxe gear set. All right, that's pretty cool. I quite like that. Football playbook ebook. All right, so what it's telling me there is we've got some instructions or some rule books or something there that's going on that they're including in it. So I quite like that. So let's have a look at the next one down. Flags and cones. All right, so we know that our product has got flags and cones set in. Maybe we're going to be looking at selling our product as a premium product or a deluxe product. So we can certainly have a look at that. We're going to be including some rule books or a rule set or a playbook. So yeah, that's why I've highlighted this particular set of keywords here. So this is pretty good. So again, just go through the first page, even the second page, but have a look at what other sellers are doing. Doesn't mean to say that you're going to copy anything. You're using this to generate ideas. Get keywords, gather keywords for your title, because the title really, really matters. As Rob said earlier, the first thing that anybody sees is your image, and then they glance over at what the product is. In other words, what your title is. Now, if your title is just football set or flag football set, that's it. It's not giving the buyer that much information. Whereas some of them down here, deluxe set includes blah blah blah, flags, cones, belts. It's giving the actual buyer more information, and they can glance at that and determine whether they actually click on the product listing, go and find more information, which is exactly what our target is. Okay, we need people to click on our listing to start with. Once they're on our listing, we need to give them the information such that they can make their mind up with respect to, you know what, yeah, this is the right price, this is exactly what I'm looking for, the product looks great, bang, I'm going to buy it. Okay, so it's all about conversion. So if you haven't got a very good title, you're not actually going to draw people into the listing itself to start with. All right, so use what is already there. Success leaves clues. Okay, so the next thing to do is just to dive into one level in. Okay, so we've gone through the first page. We've had a look at the listings. From those listings, we've copied down all of the titles. All right, we made a list in a second tab on the spreadsheet even. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into each of those listings and have a look at some of the words. Potentially here I'm in the bullet points to see if there's anything else that I could potentially use. Because I'm not saying that each of these sellers that are already up have got a perfect title. What I'm saying is I'm going to use as much of their information as I can in order to make my title the best that I possibly can. All right. So again, in these bullet points, I'm going to be looking at complete flag football set. Now, some of these may be duplicates of what you've already got down, but it doesn't matter. Make a list of them anyway, because you're not actually going to put down football 2 or 3, 4 times. All right. But it just gives you that idea. It just allows you to generate those ideas when you come in to get all of the information you need. 2 Velcro attached flags. All right, that may be important. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, and I'm going to do each of these. I'm going to read through each of these bullet points to see if there's anything that I could actually potentially use to help me think about the best title I can put down. Durable quality equipment. I like that. Durable. What does that mean? That means it's tough, because this is like from kids to adults. I know when I was a youngster, as a young teenager, I wasn't necessarily worried about whether I was going to keep the gear intact or not. I was just worried about getting my mate down on the floor and, like, you know, putting a hard tackle in. I'm talking about rugby, obviously, but you know, same deal. So durability does count. Okay, so that's quite good. I like that. Another one on here that I could actually use looking at it is detachable. Okay, that's pretty good. D-ring, maybe. The 100% money back guarantee. If you got to be careful with this, but Amazon have got some particular rules with respect to you actually posting, is there a money back guarantee or warranty on the product? You normally have to put that in the back end, but if you do offer and you stick with this as a 100% guarantee, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to put that on there. But don't put it in the title. Okay, so I'm going to do each of this. I'm going to go and open each of the listings on the first page. I'm going to have a look through their listings, in particular their bullet points, and see what else I can find, and I'm going to make a note of those. So I'm building my list all the time. Let's jump over to the next slide, see where we are. All right, another product you can use, and these are all just free products that I'm highlighting at the moment, is Google Keyword Planner. All right, so if you don't know what this is, just Google it and just Google Keyword Planner or Google Keyword Planner, and that will give you lots of options. Click on there, and what you do need to do is you just need to open up an account. It's a free account. It's just linked to your Google account. So if you've got a Gmail account, it just sort of links everything up there. So that's no problems. And then what we're doing now is just using their Google Keyword Planner. So you come over to the Tools section over on the top menu bar at the top here, and then you're going to come up with a sort of window like this on the left hand side. And what we need to be looking for is search for new keywords, and I'm going to zoom in on that one just so you can see that a little bit better. Okay, so it's search for new keywords using a phrase, website, or category. Okay, I've put the red box in there just to highlight the one we're actually looking for. Okay, so you won't actually see the red box, but again, you're looking for tools. Once you're in the Google AdWords or Keyword Planner, this is the Keyword Planner, okay? And you're going to be looking under Find New Keywords and Get Search Results Data. You want to click this first one here, okay? Once you've clicked that, you'll come up with a window like this, okay? And then what we need to be doing is, because they'll just open up a new drop down. You need to enter one or more of the following, and that's basically what it's telling you is enter your keyword or your search term you're looking for. Now here I'm keeping it as basic as possible because I want to start with flag football. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to do there. Now what Google will do is then come back with a search results window. All right, now what you want to be doing here is looking at keyword ideas. You've got two tabs here. You've got ad group ideas and got keyword ideas. Okay, so you need to make sure you're on the keyword ideas, and that's going to give you a list of potential keywords, all right, that are indexed by Google. All right, so this is not Amazon. This is outside Amazon, but don't forget we are looking for ideas to put into our title. All right, so if people are searching on Google, that means that this product is being searched, or that term is being searched by potential buyers. All right, so that's basically why we're using the Google Keyword Planner. All right, so that's going to give you this window here. This is the results window. All right, now this has changed probably over the last 6 months. It used to give you more information under the average monthly searches, but they've changed. They used to actually give you the actual number. Now it's telling me this, well, you know, it's like flag football is between 1,000 and 10,000. And they do go granular if you actually set up and pay for an ad to go forward.
You know, hey, Paul, you don't actually have to set up. I mean, you can set it up as if you're going to do it. It's prior to the purchase, Paul.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, what I'm saying is you don't need to go and buy it. You don't need to go and set anything up. What I'm saying is that in the old days, they used to give you 7,525 search terms.
Right.
They will do that now if you go and buy one, but there's no need to actually go and do it. You're correct. I probably didn't make that clear. So you're right. It's just use this information because we're not after information. We're not looking to run any ads inside Google. What we're doing is, Mr. Google, please give me your keywords. All right. So that we're not really interested in this per se, but what we're interested in this left-hand column over here is the keywords. All right. Now, if I jump over to the next slide, we'll be able to see how many. I'm going to jump between this slide and the previous slide. So over on the top right-hand side here, I've got 701, okay, search terms or search words or keywords. All right. So this list down here on the left-hand side, Google have returned 701 results. Okay. Now, I'll bet anybody $1 that you can physically sit down and without a computer and write down 701 search terms for your particular product. When I first started this, somebody said, Paul, what you need to do now is go off and make a list of keywords or search terms. Come back to me when you're complete. So I went back to him probably several hours later, and I said, done, I'm done. And I was really proud of myself. I got 14 on my list. And they sort of chuckled to themselves, and he said, right, I'll just let you know that I've got over 1,000 for mine. And I nearly fell off my chair. How on earth do you get 1,000 keywords? I just couldn't get my head around it. And then they explained to me, right, do what we're doing now. And this is exactly what I'm telling you to do now. Okay. And you will be able to get a lot of keywords down in order to help you get your title together. But yeah, to start with, I was super pumped. I got 14 keywords. But there you go, 701. All right, so I'm just going to flick to the next screen. So I've got this 701 here.
Let me make this real quick.
Go on.
So I think we get you. You certainly could have 1,000 keywords, but we're really talking about characters in the total of 5,250 is all of your characters that you can use. And certainly there could be 1,000 keywords in there, but technically we're looking for 5,000 characters, which could be 1,000 keywords. Did I catch you up there, Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's it depending on what that search term is. Ball being one search term, obviously that's got sort of less characters than football or one of the long tail keywords. So You're right. It's later on when we're going to be doing the proper keyword research. We'll be looking for 5,000 characters. Okay, and that includes spaces and everything. So, but we're going to cover that in greater detail because that's really interesting sort of topic to cover. So I want to download these. What I'm not prepared to do is sit down there and copy each line by line. So I'm going to go download. So I'm just going to hit download button next to the 701 here, and that's going to give me another option here. And I want to be downloading that in Excel CSV. Okay, so we want a CSV file. Okay, and we're going to press that Excel. Make sure that's clicked. We then press download, and what you do is that will give you the option just to save it in the folder that you want to retrieve it later on. Okay, so just make sure you save it where you can find it, and you're all good. So this is the 701 and what it looks like when you've downloaded it. So there's a lot of irrelevant information in here, but like I said, we're not interested in some of this information because this is all geared towards Google AdWords, which we're not interested in. We're interested in the keywords and the keywords only. So what you could do is just eliminate the rest of them. But what I just normally do is just hide. If you don't know how to hide, you need to right click on a column header, and that'll bring up a drop down menu and just find hide on there and just hide the whole column. So anyway, these are the keywords that I'm interested in. So I'm now building my potential list that I could look through, okay, to get my keywords from my title. Now, bearing in mind that the title needs to be crafted, and I'll say crafted because you can't just throw these things together. It needs to be crafted very carefully, such that the buyer is actually drawn to those particular words that you've got in your title, thinking that's exactly what I'm after. Look at that. I've got the image there, and look at the title. That's exactly what I'm after. Okay, as opposed to flag football set. Well, as a buyer, you need more information in order to make your mind up whether that's worth opening or not. Okay, so this is what we need to do. That's research, and we need to do the research correctly, and then you need to craft your title. And it doesn't mean to say you're going to get it right first time. You can keep working on it. But anyway, this is what the 701 results looks like once you've opened it up in Excel or Google Sheets. All right, so it's going to come up with the campaign name, ad group. That's irrelevant. It's the keywords that we're after. Okay, it's just all those keywords. So we can see in here, you know, we've got NFL youth football, flag football youth flag, football uniforms, and some other tongue twisters. NFL flag, not relevant to what we're doing. We're not selling anything that's NFL related. That's going to be a licensed product. We're not going to get into anything like that. But some of these other ones could be very, very useful for when I'm looking to get my title together. Okay, so let's jump on to see what else we got. Right, many of you out there have got ASIN Inspector or ASIN Inspector Pro. You know, and we've been through how to use ASIN Inspector in the past. If you haven't got it, there's links within our website in order to get that. If you can't find those, just give Rob myself a shout and we can give you the link in order to get this. But the way that I use my ASIN Inspector is not just to have a look at the average revenue or anything like this from an analytical point of view with respect to is the product viable. Yes, I use that, but I also use that when I am looking for keywords. All right, and over on the right hand side, and again I'm just going to zoom in. All right, so over on the right hand side here there's a little key symbol. All right, so that little key symbol there is the one we're looking for. All right, so if I just click on that, right, that's going to bring me up keywords. All right, so let's have a look at the next slide. So that's going to bring up a little pop-up menu. I'll zoom into this as I've taken the screenshot, but that's going to give me all the relevant keywords for this particular listing. All right, and the position or the ranking that is within the system itself from ASIN inspector. Oh, spelling mistake there. I apologize. So anyway, we can have a look down here and see what this particular skills 10-man flag football deluxe set, what flags and cones is using as their keywords. All right. So to start with, they're using deluxe SM 110 two-way display finger pulse oximeter. Well, I don't think they are, but they may well be using that because it's in there as maybe they're listing it in a separate category. Okay, so this is another little technique that we'll cover at some point. This is more relevant to what we're looking at. So it's a man flag football deluxe set. Now, what you see is sometimes when you come through, they think, why are they using those keywords? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like this first one, you know, why are they using that? So a finger pulse oximeter, you know, so measure your oxygen within your blood. Why are they using that as a keyword? Maybe they know something that we don't. Okay, but what it's telling us is ASIN inspectors are actually returning that as a result. So let's not ignore it to start with, but maybe it's just picking up on the deluxe side of things. So some of these answers here you've got to have a look at, and again, it's all about generating particular ideas to craft out your title. So this is ASIN inspector. Again, use ASIN inspector. I'll go back here, use a little key symbol on, I'll go down to the next one, go down to the next one, go down to the next one, and down all of these first page results, I would click on the little key, copy the information and add it to my spreadsheet. Okay, so always look at gathering as much information as you can. Some of this is going to be irrelevant, some of it is going to be copied as in duplicates. But it's really important that you gather as much information as you move forward. And all I'm doing is just telling you the various different ways in order to get that information out the best we can. The reason I'm putting ASIN inspector in there, because I know a lot of people have got ASIN inspector, whereas some of the other tools that we're going to be looking at next week or potentially the week after, some of you will not have. All right. So today I'm purely focusing on methodology in order to get your keywords via what we've already got or via free methods. So let's jump on to the next one where we are here. This is a free one. It's Keyword Tool IO. All right. So it's Keyword Tool IO. And again, that is, if you just put that into Google, you find that, it will come up and so just jump in. Now, this is the interface. Now, again, if you want some more information, you can pay for it, but there's no need. There's no need. Absolutely zero need for any of this. Okay. So, and it gives you the option to, do you want to go through Google? Do you want to find keyword tools or keywords in YouTube? Do you want to find keywords in Bing, Amazon, or the App Store? Well, in this case, we're interested in Amazon. So I've selected the Amazon tab. And again, I'm using the same terminology here, flag football. I'm interested in the United States and I'm interested in the English language. Okay, I then press the search and it then returns 112 unique keywords. Okay, so if you look at this, and again, I shall zoom in for you. So if you look at this, again, some of these we already know are duplicates of what is already out there and what we've already got. Okay, we've already seen flag football set, which is going to be the obvious one. But further down, there may well be, and there are, unique keywords that I haven't seen anywhere else. Now, don't worry about this little warning sign here. Do you need this information? You can get it to you basically if you pay for it. You know, pays for a subscription. That's basically telling you what the search volume is, cost per click, AdWords competition, and all of that other information. We're not really interested in any of that. And again, what we can do here is export all, and that'll sort of give us this in a CSV file again, so we can add it to our list. And again, it's all about finding ideas to put in our title and making the title the best we can as we're moving forward. So let's have a look out. So basically, is there any questions? Because this is the title I've got at the moment. Now let me explain what we've got here. We've got Flag Football Deluxe Game Set. Okay, full 10-man set, belts, flags, cones, down marker. Now I didn't see too many other of the top sellers using down marker in their title, maybe one or two, but not many. And that's a key feature within our product, so I've added it in. It comes with a carry bag. Other people are using various different other terminology, including football rules guide. All right, now as you see, we saw some football rules or football guidelines or football something or wherever it was on one of the keywords. So basically, this is my first draft. Okay, let me repeat that. This is my first draft at our product title. Is this going to be the final one? Probably not. But what this research has allowed me to do is gone through all of these successful sellers where success leaves clues. If you're on the first page, you're selling quite a bit of the product. So therefore, why wouldn't it be successful? Okay, so we've had a look at their titles. We've had a look inside of their listings. We've had a look at their potential keywords from ASIN. We've gone into Google. We've gone into various different other tools in order to draw out relevant keywords for this particular product. And what we've managed to do is go analyze each of those words and think, okay, then is this relevant? Isn't it relevant? Is this relevant? Isn't it relevant? And we've added it into our title. Now, when I say it's the first draft, what we need to do is sit down through this. And this is something that I always do, and this is something that always Rob does, is you put down your title and you leave it. Okay, you put down your first draft, you're thinking, right, this is the best I can do. Then you leave it and you walk away. All right, you then come back to it, which we're at that point now. I need to sit down with Rob and we need to go through this and say, right, how can we re-optimize this? How can we make it even better? And I dare say we can make this even better as our final title before we actually put it into the back end of Seller Central. Okay, so what we managed to do is pull out all of the keywords. So we've got deluxe in there, potentially a spelling mistake, potentially not. Okay, game set, full 10-man set, belts, flags, cones. So there's no need to write "and" in there because that's just wasting space. We could actually put a hyphen in there, but I think a comma makes sense. Down marker, that came up in the search terms that we're using. So there's no point in putting in if you're not including into your particular product. That's important to know. Including. Now, whether we actually have the word including in there in the final thing, I don't know. Flag football rules, whether we have carry bag in there, we may change that around a little bit. We may change the order of some of these. We may add something, we may take something away. But in essence, this is a lot better than a flag football set. Okay, so this is the first draft. The next draft, we're going to optimize this to better, basically using the keywords that we've actually researched and gathered on our list. And then we'll finalize where we are. Okay. So if you've got any questions, please jump in. I don't know whether we've had any questions, Rob, come through. I've noticed sort of a few in there. But basically, that is your keyword research. Now I'm going to go back to...
And the thing about that is that's a very overview of what we do. All right, you're echoing. So that's
I should go mute.
That's a big overview of the keyword process just to get started. This is just you kind of seeing how it works and how we start getting these keywords and such. And there's some other programs out there that will help us go into this a little more. And next week, what we're going to do is I'm going to share a software tool. We're going to have the inventor of this, or the creator, I don't know if inventor is the right word, but we're going to have him on next week, or we're going to share it with you, one of the two. I'm waiting for the confirmation of that. But this keyword software tool does some amazing stuff. And some of the things that have just recently come available to me as far as my own even knowledge is that Amazon's only indexing, and what indexing means is they're actually taking into account that that's one of your keywords. And what we've found is they're only indexing about half of the 5,000 characters. And this is like this, I'm telling you right now, this is one of those super secret things that is not out there. And I can show you exactly what's happening. And next week, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on with this. And this has been going on, I mean, for a while now, and nobody realized it. And I don't think there's a bunch of information out there about it. And what happened is Amazon let you put out 5,000, but then they were kind of randomly picking out of the 5,000 which ones they wanted to put as far as your indexing. So next week, we're going to show you some insight on how, number one, you can find all of these keywords at one time, meaning you can get all 5,000 of your characters in one time. This software will go pull it for you. It'll give you keyword searches by keyword phrase. It will also give you the amount of searches for it. It'll give you the relevance to your product. So it'll score those keywords and say, this is how relevant it is. This has the biggest weight. And this one at the bottom may have a little bit more search, but it's not as relevant to your product as far as purchases from other sources. So next week, we're going to share that with you. It's just going to help you go into this a lot deeper. This is that cursory, just getting yourself familiar. I mean, because the main thing is you've got to start building your own familiarity with your market and what's going on in your market. And so this is why we're started here. It starts getting your process and your thinking. Now, one of the things that I think is super important and what Paul used here, which is looking at your competitors' listings. Now, I would expect you should look at every single listing that you have out there, as well as read the descriptions, as well as do that and start making this really long, process of where you, like Paul said, you create a file and you just start putting stuff in there. Like there was some things about this product that I liked, that were doing some, there were strange things like college intramural sports. So apparently, this intramural thing was going on, and I didn't think about that, but for intramural games for colleges, when the frats or sororities or they have these big weekly games and stuff, and so they're playing flag football, and these are things that people sell. So that's one of the things that I found in the keyword research on this. And like I said, next week, I'm telling you, I'm going to share some amazing information that this software will do for you. And we've been using it and having some pretty effective impact in the listings that we have. And so we'll either have him on or we'll go through and explain to you. But we're actually going to show you exactly how you can get your keywords indexed. And I promise you, this is such an advantage over everybody else right now that you could, when you launch your product right now, it can give you just 10 times more advantage because you actually know what keywords you're actually getting indexed for. And again, indexing means Amazon's actually taking into account that that's your word. And if they're not, then that word's not going to be searched. So the problem is if you somehow put it, and this is a little bit maybe advanced, but essentially you have those 5 categories. Well, what happens is Amazon's only indexing certain words in each one of those 5 sections. Well, what we want to do is we want to get it indexed which keywords we want instead of letting them randomly pick it. So we found out a way in which you can force Amazon to index the words that you want to use. And that's by moving keywords into the boxes that Amazon is indexing that box more. And what we have found is box number 2 is indexing 100% of anything you put in it. So what we do is we go in there and rank our products by the amount of searches or, whatever keywords we want to make sure rank. We go into box 2 and we make sure all those keywords are in there. But there's no way for you to know that. And there are some manual ways in which you can do that, but it would take you forever. And that's one of the reasons we all use other products, Jungle Scout and NamaSuite and ASIN Inspector and keyword research tools. Listen, this is a real business. And if you were to open up a mechanic shop and you're going to start your business, well, the bottom line is when you start that mechanic shop, you're going to have some tools. Now, I want to make sure that you get the best and the cheapest tools that you can, but there are just some tools. Now, I don't have a problem of, showing you those tools. The Keyword IO tool is one of my favorite keyword tools. Now, is it worth the money if you're only doing Amazon as far as paying for the subscription? I'm going to say probably not. I think you could maybe use your money in some other locations that are much more Amazon centric. But I do some other things in my business where, hey, understanding what YouTube searching. Now, I can tell you that I am currently using the Keyword IO tool to help me, because one of the things I'm doing on a new channel that I'm doing on YouTube is I'm going to be reviewing my products as well as other people's products for an affiliate site. But in the middle of that, I will be doing, the process of selling my own product by using some YouTube videos. And that's a little bit more advanced for all of you guys right now. But that's something that we'll talk about, maybe have a show about, and I'll show you how we can get some extra promotion outside of, as everybody wants to buy ads on Facebook, which I don't suggest, or ads anywhere outside of the Amazon network. But if we can create free traffic in, then I'm all for it. And we'll have a conversation about that. So I'm super excited about next week and what we're going to do there. This is from Cynthia. I recently heard that some people are having luck using only one keyword per line in the search section of our backend area. Have you heard of anything like this? I recently heard that some people are having luck using only one keyword per line. I don't understand. Like they're returning each one or something? Maybe you can explain that a little more, Cynthia.
No, I think that what that is in the back end where we've got those 5 particular lines where we're putting our 5,000 characters. I think what Cynthia's saying is instead of putting the 5,000 characters, they're just putting one keyword per section.
Well, I mean, I don't know how that would be successful at all. Like, how would it, just one keyword? So that means in the end of the day, you're going to have 5 total keywords for your product.
Yeah.
I don't see how that could possibly be successful to anybody. That would be like, I don't know how anybody would find it. Like how would actually anybody actually find your product if you only have 5 keywords total? I would say that is absolutely 100% not correct. Like it goes against every single thing that keywords represent in the entire industry online, literally. So, but see, that's why you have to be super careful about what you watch and what you listen to out there. I mean, literally, that's diabolically opposed to how keywords would work. So I would say that could not be correct. Now, I might eat my fist in my mouth on that one, but I just don't see how that could possibly. That's somebody who doesn't have a clue. I could see. I mean, if you're all of a sudden you're only going to put 5 keywords for your product, that means there's only 5 ways people can find you. That's it. They couldn't accidentally find you because Amazon doesn't know that you actually have these other things. I mean, Amazon specifically works. I mean, this is an entire platform that is 100% ruled by keywords. People don't show up in Amazon and do anything but put in a keyword and search for that product. They typically, when you arrive to Amazon, the only way in which you search, and we talked a little bit earlier about long tail keywords, and long tail keywords are basically, and I explained this to Cynthia in the chat, is how we speak. I mean, we have become more and more intimate with our phones in the sense that, Google now becomes this magic answering machine, and we talk to her. And I don't know if it's a her or him, but we talk to Google and we're like, hey, Google, where's the closest restaurant within 5 miles of me? That's a long tail keyword, basically, is what happens, and then we sometimes will search it, we'll shorten it ourselves. Show me the best restaurant within 5 miles of me. And literally, if you go to your phone right now and ask it, Google will tell you that answer. And so when we become to speaking, so what happens is we take some of that over into Amazon, and we may be on our phones even asking. The more you're on your phone, the more you're going to ask questions like that, as opposed to, flag football belts or, heavy duty hair dryer. And you might say, when you're on your phone, you might say, show me the best heavy duty hair dryer you know, and then it would do that. And you might take out the show. So you may just put in, you know, more specifics, but we tend to now are searching for 3 or 4 words like we're talking to our computer. And that's the essence where we're going to get more and more as technology comes forward. This is going to be like this person who's assistant in your life all the time. So we'll come back to the keyword situation. I think that the entire foundation of how Amazon works is by keywords, and to have the ability to be able to put 5,000 keywords or key characters in something and then only, you know, count less than 100 of them. And if you call 6 words, I mean, you're talking about having 40 characters out of 5,000. I just couldn't see how that could be good. So that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe someone knows something more out there in the internet that I know. So,
well,
anyway.
It also goes against the what Amazon advise, because if you look through the advice that Amazon give you, they tell you to basically add all of those characters in. So yeah, I believe that someone that maybe is hitting lucky, but they don't really understand keywords in the back end at all.
Well, I mean, sometimes, I mean, there are products that have, I mean, maybe they're in a smaller category and there's just not that many keywords. And so that if they just put the word flag football belts and put maybe one line and put 5 of them in there, they could cover, you know, a large portion of what it is. Maybe it's a very specific product that there is, you know, so that if you're 80 or 90% of the sales are coming from one area, you know, one set of keywords, you know, some phrases, and there's just no variation that you could really get to, that's a possibility there.
Yeah, very true. Rob, I've got another question, and it's come up a couple of times during the week. This is a little bit off topic, but it really pertains to listing a bundle per se. Now, last week we covered making sure that you actually set yourself aside, or in other words, stand out in a crowd by adding something. I think you mentioned a keychain, a simple keychain, and that could be added to anything. It's a very, very inexpensive product, but it would make your product fairly unique. Now, I think some people are getting a little bit confused with respect to, is that a bundle, and do I need to list that separately, or how do is there anything special I need to do, or anything like that? So maybe if we can explain that a little bit better, I think that'll help.
All right, let me clear that up. All right, so what we're talking about is, let's assume you were to get this flag football set, and it comes in a, if you'll show the screenshot of the actual, there you go. You see that little bag right there? Let's assume you didn't put your name on these things and you just had this thing without that, you know, graphic in there, and you didn't have these other things. And let's assume that's what you sold. Well, the issue would be is how do I separate myself? Because that means if you didn't have any of that stuff, there was no logo, no anything on it, how would you sell that and still you know, make your product unique? Well, you couldn't. I mean, if I went and bought that same set, I could just, we would list under the same listing, because it's like saying, you know, you can't have 20 different boxes of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes 16-ounce package. Like, there's only one listing for that on Amazon. Amazon doesn't want you to go there and put in Frosted Flakes 16-ounce package and it shows up and there's 400 of them. They want it and require and demand that you have one listing for Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, 16 ounce. It's only one. 18 ounce is different. So, but anything that's an identical product, Amazon requires you. So that's not somebody hijacking your listing. That's just part of the requirement. So they're not doing anything wrong. So what you need to do is that you need to be able to figure out how is it you make your product distinct enough that when people are looking for it, that they can't then add on and do that to you because your product is unique. Well, any product that is any different at all, I mean, if it's different at all, if the product has an extra flag in it, so, you know, you could do this and have a 10-man flag football set with one extra flag and really be, you know, the one replacement flag, and one yellow, like you see on this picture here, there's a red and a yellow. Let's assume you just added one extra one and made it an odd number. So it's actually not enough to have a 12-man set. It's just you included one extra flag per bag. Well, now all of a sudden you don't have a 46 piece, you have a 48 piece, right? You still would list it as a 10-man set with bonus, you know, replacement flags. Well, if I were to then buy that product it is different than this product because it's not the same. It has something that's uniquely different. Meaning if I pull out the bags and I get the products in front of me and I look through it all and there's 2 extra flags in one bag, and that would be a creative way to make this product unique. Now, as well as you could, change the graphics in there and do some other things, but let's assume you were just trying to be as generic as you possibly could to get this product up and listed. So there's a great way, because what's the likelihood that someone would then go out and do the same thing that you did? Now, it could have happened, yes. So that's why you got to come up with something unique. And so last week we talked about the keychain. Now, this has nothing to do with multiple listings. I don't even really like to call it a bundle. Now, it's just you created a package of your own unique version of whatever product that you're doing. It just gives you something so that when somebody opens a package, and if in Amazon someone does end up on your listing, so let's assume someone says, oh, I got the same product, I'm gonna end up on their listing. Now, again, technically they haven't hijacked your listing. I mean, hijacking a listing usually comes from a Chinese supplier who's selling your product or has something similar, and they don't know what they're doing, and then they list on you to try to siphon off some of your number. But with this, you then can call Amazon and say, listen, hey, their project, I've ordered them both. Here's pictures of them. They don't have the keychain in it. Well, if you're not getting the keychain, then it's not the same product. And the keychain was just something that you could put in there randomly. And I'm not suggesting it's always a keychain. I was using it as a generic product. Well, what could you do with this product to do something extra to it? You could get a football and put it in here. You could get a miniature football and call it a marker. Or you could get, something else to mark, like there's that little blue bag in there. You could get something else to mark, you're down with it. It's just putting something into your product that makes it unique. Now, if you can get logos on everything, but the problem is when you're doing a test run, you typically may not be able to put your own graphics and stuff in there. Now, some products you are, and if you can't, listen, again, you got to get back to not falling in love with your product. If you fall in love with your product, you're gonna make bad decisions, because you're gonna sacrifice things that you shouldn't be doing. Don't sacrifice because you fall in love with a product. I love this product. I love this product. Well, you start bending, what should be done. All of a sudden, you're gonna go, why didn't my product do well? Well, it failed because you did something that you instead of buying 250, you bought 2,000. And then you didn't realize that that market was getting in. You didn't test it. You didn't do anything, and now you're stuck with these products. So what we're talking about, and bundling may be a word that may pull it together. We were just talking about people just sell bundles of stuff, but usually they're more mainstream products. Like they'll take, the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and they'll add in a bowl that goes with it, and a spoon. It comes with a bowl and spoon set. And, so now that's a unique product, but that's a completely different line of business. What we're talking about is trying to take a product and make it a private, it's not technically even a private label product. It's just a way in which you make your product unique so you could be the only person listing that product. And it's by adding something small or different. It's just differentiating your product. Meaning my football, flag book football set comes with, even if it came with a keychain to keep the keys, I always feel like you probably should have some way in which to make it make sense. And it could be, hey, our logo is on the new keychain, and, bonus keychain to keep your keys straight. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that would relate too much. So what is it you could do with any product that would be a small, insignificant purchase that you could put inside your product that then would ensure that if anybody else tried to jump on your listing, which they would have to do if they thought it was the right thing and they thought it was the matching thing, but you're going to say, hey, Mr. Buyer, our product includes this and yours doesn't. So I think maybe you need to possibly relist that someplace else. And so that's kind of how that would, come down and work. So I hope that explains that a little more.
Yeah, that covers it, I think. Yeah, absolutely spot on. There's no need to do anything special on your listing. Just list it as it is. You don't need to do any parent-child or anything like that, or any other terminology you've heard. We'll cover that later on, but yeah, brilliant. Add the keychain in. As you say, we can put a keychain in this, can we? We put a keychain in anything you want. So,
But I
so
don't
if
suggest.
anybody else has got any questions, yeah, go on. Sorry, Rob.
And the keychain could work with some products, but don't try to make it so bizarre that it doesn't make sense at all. If you're going to do a keychain in here, I wouldn't even put it in the description. I might put it at the description. Hey, as a bonus today, we're giving away one of our super cool keychains, and that's it. And maybe at the bottom of your description, don't feature it. Don't put it in the pictures. That would just be an extra way. And then if something happens in the future, you can pull that card out on somebody. Oh, Amazon, listen. Now, let me assure you that may take you 2 weeks to prove to Amazon that, hey, my package comes with this keychain. It's in the description. Here it is. And you'd create a document that had arrows pointing out, well, see, this is what's different. Their package doesn't include this. So they're not the same as me. And Amazon would then remove them from your listing. So, I mean, and this is in the unfortunate incidents that you do something where, your product is so generic. Now, I suggest, maybe you come up with a different packaging or box with a sticker on it or whatever you can. So let's assume you couldn't get this flag football set, with your logos on it or whatever. Well, maybe you create a generic box that you put a sticker on it, and that's part of your packaging. Now, is Amazon, that's very iffy. If what's inside of the package is exactly the same as mine, Amazon may rule against you on that one. But then what you could do is you go back in and you go replace it and put in some new product and put in keychains and send it back in. You can always solve problems. Sometimes you're just going to have to be, a little bit creative. And hey, that's what we're here for. That's why you're a Gorillas Bootcamp member, is because you can get some insight in some things. You can talk to other people and know what they're doing and what they're working and why it's working. And so that's how you can, put people, in there to do and help you with. So, and certainly Paul and I are available to try to help you with some creativity in those issues as well. I think that's about it, Paul. We're at that hour. I like to get out of here, and so people can come back and watch this and get straight to the point. If you would like to stick around and have any questions, what we'll do is we'll invite you down to the classroom. You guys are kind of in the gallery right now. If you're out there, if you'd like to come down, Paul, if you could take the link and put it inside of the chat box, so that if you'd like to come down and have some, one-on-one, we're going to turn off the live broadcast, and to continue to be in it, we have room for about 10 people that can come down to the the virtual classroom right at the front. And so he's put the link in there. So if you want to click on that and you want to come down and ask any questions, we'll stick around for as long as you need. But we're going to go ahead and end this portion of the live broadcast. If you have any other questions, you can, and you're listening to this later on, you can reach us at the website at gorillasonline.com. We got a bunch of free assets up there. If you're interested in joining the Amazon Gorillas Bootcamp, you can do that as well on the website. And if you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, we put up all kinds of content there. We'd love to have you. So go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we appreciate you guys, and we hope that you learned something today. Any last words before we go, Paul?
Do your research. Just go and do it. It takes a little bit of time, but once you've done it, you've got it there forever. So it's well worth doing. So thanks for sticking around and listening, and I hope that was useful. In the meantime, see you next week.
Bye-bye.